This is Arts Alive. I'm Linda Philippi. My guests today are Mike Santenay and Chris Nordquist, and they're here to talk about Paper Gardens, the writing competition coming up very soon, right?
Yes.
So I'm glad you could make it today.
Great, it's great to be here.
And Chris, I guess you are one of the movers and shakers of this event this year.
No. I'm not a mover and shaker. This is my first year to volunteer with the program.
Okay.
I've been hearing about it for a long time, and Gail Watson, a dear friend, kept saying, Chris, you should be involved, because I love poetry and I teach English literature at PCC. And so this year I got, what would you call it,
Hornswoggled.
Hornswoggled.
That's a real word.
I'd never heard of it. That's great. I got hornswoggled into this. So I'm serving on the committee, and I'm pitching in wherever I can because I am excited about it. But no, I'm not a mover and shaker.
Okay, well then I guess that'll be Mike's job. Well, Mike, you want to talk about some of the nuts and bolts of the event?
Yeah, the Paper Gardens started in 1993 by Rachel Bouchard, someone you knew. And it's been going in Yamhill County, helping Yamhill County writers, both children. In fact, I think there's people whose children who've won an award, and now whose children have won an award.
Oh, that's
Wonderful.
cool.
That's
great.
So what we do is we have a contest every year. It usually culminates in April, May, but this year it's in April, which is National Poetry Month. It's a contest, both prose for adults and children. The prose are things like short stories and this year creative nonfiction,
Nice.
which is kind
that
of
would be nice.
more open-ended, and then poetry and the different categories of poetry. And then we have an award ceremony. And for the last 21 years, they've been publishing a chapbook. And so there's a published, the authors get published. And so it's a unique program in some ways because of the longevity. There are a number of other writing contests in Yamhill County, but this is the one that everybody looks forward to. And Rachel Bouchard, who started it, basically said, I want to have the judges be of stature. And her first judge, the first judge here for Paper Gardens, was William Stafford.
Yes, and we just celebrated.
This is his centennial, but he was the first one. It's actually the year he died. And we've had Ursula Gwynn. We've had Ellen this year. You want to talk a little bit about our judge this year?
Robin Cody's going to be our judge this year.
Okay.
And he's done it in the past, and he had so much fun, and everybody just loved him. And so we drew on him again. And I can read a little bit about Robin. He's a great guy. Portland writer Robin Cody. He's going to be the guest judge. He's the author of Ricochet River. I don't know if you've heard of that, in 1992, a novel. 2005, he was the Oregon Cultural Heritage Commission. Recognized Ricochet River as one of 100 essential Oregon books.
Wow.
Yeah, that's pretty big. Voyage of a Summer Sun is his nonfiction account of his 82-day solo canoe trip down the Columbia River from its source in Canada to its mouth in Astoria. So, I mean, it sounds great. I haven't read it yet, but it's highly recommended. And with that book, Voyage, Cody was the 1995 Oregon Book Award for literary nonfiction. And then he was the 1996 Pacific Northwest Booksellers Association Book Award. And his most recent book is called Another Way the River Has. It's a collection of short true stories published by Oregon State University.
Wow.
So he's experienced writer, and we're excited about having him come.
I'd say he's someone of stature.
Yes, someone of stature, yes.
Rachel will be pleased.
Yeah, and he was gracious. We got started late this year. Normally, Paper Gardens get started in the fall. We didn't really start until the end of December. And so he was very gracious. Our deadline for submission is March 1, which prior we had a deadline of February 15th, which then gave the judge 6 weeks.
Sure.
Well, he was gracious and said, okay, I'll find 4 weeks is enough for me, because we have to get it back in order to publish the book.
Of course.
So he was really helpful in doing that. But yeah, and Rachel would be pleased.
Now, so I'm assuming that as usually happens, that notices were sent out to all the grammar schools and
Right.
yeah.
Written in all the schools.
I love because some of the teachers really embrace the project, and you get, everybody
Yeah.
in the class comes up with a poem, and some of them, they're so good. These little kids write this great
know.
poetry, and you think, wow, this is amazing stuff.
Sometimes it's even better because they're not so self-conscious
Exactly.
yet, and it's just the truth comes pouring out of them. I've been reading the chapbook that you guys put together for last year, and I feel the same way. It's just there's wonderful stuff in there.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I personally went around to all of the schools.
Wow, that's wonderful.
Well, except the Newburgh area.
I did the Newburgh, and I did the same thing in person.
You go in person and you talk to the principal.
Yeah.
And of course, because it's been going so long, everybody knows it.
Exactly.
They're all, oh, good, we've been wondering where you guys
Well,
are.
you know what, it's kind of like, especially for the schools, I mean, it's kind of a gimme, you come in with a fun project that doesn't cost anything, and it's pretty
Yeah.
easy, and, everybody has a good time, and it breaks up the monotony, and what's not to love, right?
Yeah, exactly. Speaking of cost, though, we should give a thanks to our donors, the people
Yeah.
that come on board that help make this possible.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, like a lot of Arts Alliance programs, they
It's a low-budget affair.
It's low budget, and
Starving
really,
artists.
the idea is to try to get sponsorships so that your budget balances out.
Sure.
And this year, the Friends of the McMinnville Library gave us a
nice chunk.
nice amount.
Good.
So they're co-sponsors.
Great.
And then we've had some individual people sponsor categories. The
nice.
Easy Writers, which is a writing group,
Oh, right, of
Yeah.
course.
they're sponsoring the short story.
You know what, and I think
That's
Mary
great.
Rash, the Easy Writers, she's been doing that writing group for, I think, 25 years
Oh,
at least.
wow.
Oh yeah, a long time.
I didn't know
long
about
time.
it. See, that's why I'm coming on board, because
Yeah.
it's about time that Newburgh is showing up and competing and getting involved here. You MAC people have been stealing all the glory. But that's why I have fun going out and talking up the schools here. And I've started a writer group just from former students of teaching
really?
the college.
Interesting.
And I've got about 9 or 10 young people in my writers group, and 5 of them are working on novels right now, fantasy novels. And so I feel such an excitement over getting young people involved and seeing they are so creative. And a lot of times I think I get fearful that our young people are just buried in video games and cell phones and technology, but they're still writing.
You know what?
They are still
Every
writing.
time they send a text, they're writing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Every time, even if it's a tweet, it's like a haiku.
Yeah.
You have to think about what you're
Yeah.
And
going
there
to say.
are contests now for those.
If you've got a
For tweets?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know
Well,
that.
yeah, but it is. I mean, it's kind of a
Yeah.
form of,
Yeah.
brevity, conciseness, and editing. And I think, people do write a lot. I mean,
Yeah.
even if it's email, you're
You're
writing all day.
texting. Yeah, exactly. And
So-
blogging now. I mean,
course.
a lot of young people are more interested in blogging. So that's why I'm hoping that this kind of thing will draw on that.
What I wanted, Rachel Broussard was not only she was a poet, and she
Right.
wrote a book called Green Figs and Sweet Grapes. And from that book, she wrote a poem that actually is the genesis of Paper Gardens. It's embedded in here, and I'd like
Oh,
to
that's
read
neat.
it.
Yeah.
Oh, please
I'd
do.
like to read it. It's called Poet's Nemesis. Mock my dreams, all mold bricks of vision. Pity my loneliness, your tears will fill singing brooks. Burn my paper gardens, cool camellias will rise from the flames. Scorn my fanciful ramblings, all map trails of Celestia. Crush my idiosyncratic pen, lyrics will bloom like suns to light you to the gates. So,
That's
she was,
nice.
and I've read, and she's also done a number of essays and books, written books on John Updike.
Oh, yeah.
But so I'm hoping that we can learn some more about her. Ken Myers, we'd mentioned earlier, has a collection of all of the Paper Gardens
Oh, good.
chapbooks.
All the chapbooks for 20 years. That's
and
wow.
we're going to try to gather those up and give them to the libraries.
You know, it's too bad that over the years, all the many scintillating interviews I've done with artists and people we haven't saved them, because I definitely as soon as you said Rachel, I remember she used to live on Bonnie Jean place over there in McMinnville, and we went over there one afternoon. It was hot, a brutally hot summer day, and interviewed her in the shade of her patio.
Oh, nice.
And it was a long time ago, but yeah.
Wow.
And she was really a sort of a, I don't know, she wasn't what you'd call like a sweet little old lady.
Oh,
She was kind of
she had opinions. Huh?
snappy. Yeah, she was a snappy little old lady.
Hey, you read some of her poems, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes,
That's
indeed.
good.
That's good. Well, she'd be so pleased to know this was still going. 21 years. This was the 21st year,
Yeah,
right?
it's
Really crazy. So you want to talk about when the final event will be, the public reading?
April 18th in the evening at Chemeketa, I think in the main
Right,
room is at
right.
Chemeketa here in McMinnville. And the 18th, the deadline again is March 1st.
Okay.
And hopefully they've shown here that we have a website,
Right.
artsalliance.org, and there'll be, the judge will read probably and then introduce, and then people will read
The winners.
the winners
Yeah,
will
that'll
read
be
their
nice,
work.
yeah.
Right.
And as usual, probably Elizabeth and I will film them.
Wonderful.
And there is some from 2 years ago already on where
good, okay.
you could actually go and see some of the readings. But we'll do
Maybe
that
we could
again
even
this year.
put some of those links on the Arts Alive website too.
Oh,
The-
that'd be
Yes.
nice.
Oh,
the
yeah.
Facebook page or whatever. Yeah.
And then the next day is a Terroir writing conference.
Festival, or the-
Festival,
right, yeah.
whatever it's called.
Celebration.
Oh, that's going to be awesome. I'm looking forward
It
to
is.
it. Yeah.
Great. Okay.
But April 18th, Friday, is the big ceremony. And for me, getting the writing out, trying to encourage people to express themselves in writing is the key to having this be a success. That's one of the reasons I get myself involved is to try to encourage people to. I spent a number of years as a writer, not fiction, writing reports.
Oh, right, yeah.
Writing reports. And
Technical
so
manuals.
well,
Translating from Dutch to English.
basically 11-day turnarounds on 15-day reports.
Oh my goodness sakes, yeah.
Investigative reports.
Oh right, of course.
and-
The justice system.
Yeah. And so writing is so essential. I don't think it goes away. And like you were just saying, people are reading a lot.
You know, one of my very favorite lines from one of my very favorite movies is "Throw Mama from the Train."
Oh, yeah.
And little Owen, Danny DeVito. You know, a writer writes always. You know,
That's right.
Yeah, that was a funny movie.
we always say that around our house. You know, a writer writes always.
Yeah, I make my students write all the time, and they, you can't get fit going to the gym once a month.
Exactly.
You have to write, go.
Really? Oh no!
I know. I keep telling them.
Okay, good. Well, so Paper Gardens deadline is February 15th for submissions.
No, March 1st.
March 1.
Oh, right.
Yeah,
March
yeah.
1st for submissions. And then the event
April
itself
18th.
is April
April
18th.
18th.
And all the information can be found on the Arts Alliance website.
Yes.
And
Fabulous.
actually in the Paper Gardens website too.
Thank you very much for being here today.
Oh, thank you
We're
so
out
much.
of time.
All right.
Okay,
It's great.
thanks.